Thanks for joining us tonight on the MiTV Primetime News. My name is Benjamin Peters, and straight to the headlines tonight. The inauguration of the 9th National Assembly kicks off tomorrow. President Muhammadu Buhari signs June 12 bill as Democracy Day into law. From the education sector, JAMB releases another 15,490 results of the 2019 UTME. On the foreign scene, Mali attack, 100 killed in ethnic Dogon village. And from the world of sports, Super Eagles in top form ahead of AFCON 2019. And now straight to the details. Ahead of Tuesday's inauguration of the 9th National Assembly, governors of the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, as well as the party's National Working Committee, met with the APC caucus of the incoming National Assembly. The meeting, which has several of the governors in attendance, is to finalize arrangements regarding its zoning of principal offices in the National Assembly and ensure that lawmakers elected on the party's platform as directed. And meanwhile, governors of the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, have endorsed Senator Ahmad Lawan and Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila for the position of the Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives, respectively. The governors, under the aegis of Progressive Governors Forum, arrived at the decision during its inaugural meeting at the Kebbi Governors Lodge in Abuja. Chairman of the forum and Kebbi State Governor Atiku Bagudu said the governors of the firm believe that the leadership of the party took the right decision when they opted to support Lawan and Gbajabiamila for the principal offices. Bagudu also added that the choice of people for other principal positions will be determined by the party. On the crisis in the party, he said members made comments but was silent on the position of the governors. He said the governors were solidly behind the president as the leader of the party and were prepared to work with him to take the nation to the next level. And the National Working Committee of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has formally adopted Senator Ovie Omoagege for the position of Deputy Senate President of the 9th Assembly. Malam Lanre Isa Onilo, APC National Publicity Secretary, in a statement on Monday in Abuja, said the decision was taken at an emergency meeting of the NWC held in Abuja. Isa Onilo said that the meeting also endorsed Malam Mohammed Wase as Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. He added that the decision was taken after consultations with President Muhammadu Buhari, party stakeholders, and APC state governors. The APC had earlier announced Senators Ahmed Lawan and Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila as its candidates for the positions of the Senate President and Speaker of the House of Representatives. And as lawmakers elect principal officers of the 9th National Assembly, National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Prince Uche Secondus, has warned the President and the All Progressive Congress not to muzzle the legislature and other arms of government. Secondus stated this against the backdrop of alleged interest of the presidency and the leadership of the Senate and the House of Representatives. In a statement signed by his media aide, Ike Aboye, Secondus said his warning has become germane given the dictatorial tendencies of the APC administration as seen in the last 4 years and their continuous propensity to disregard the rule of law and other principles of democracy. According to the PDP polls, available intelligence report to the party shows that the presidency and the APC have concluded plans to use intimidation and coercion against legislators not to be ready to bid in their desperation to hoist leadership on the legislators. And President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday signed into law the bill declaring June 12 every year a public holiday to mark Democracy Day in the country. The bill was recently passed by the National Assembly at the request of the president, who last year honored late politician Moshood Abiola, who won the 1993 presidential election conducted on June 12 that year, but was denied the presidency and eventually detained by the military junta. Abiola died in custody in 1997 without reclaiming his mandate and has since been hailed a democracy icon in the country. The president's signing of the bill legalizes the public holiday declared for Wednesday, during which more elaborate activities marking Buhari's inauguration for his second term in office will be held. Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Ita Enang, told State House correspondents in an exclusive interview shifted after meeting with the President.
The Buhari has just assented to the Public Holidays Amendment Act. This act declares June 12 of every year as a public holiday and Democracy Day in Nigeria. It amends the Public Holidays Act, which now removes May 29 of every year as a public holiday and now makes it June 12, the Democracy Day, to be a public holiday, in Nigeria from henceforth. That is the bill just assented to by Mr. President, which we are transmitting.
President Muhammadu Buhari Monday in Abuja welcomed the support of the Italian government to help recover and repatriate illegally deposited Nigerian assets in foreign countries. Mr. Buhari spoke when he received a delegation from the Italian Parliament led by Senator Vito Petruccelli, Chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs at the State House. The Italian ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Stefano Ponticelli, who accompanied the delegation while conveying the message of the Italian government, told the Nigerian leader that his country was ready to cooperate fully with the country on illicit assets repatriation. Responding, President Muhammadu Buhari commended the Italian government for demonstrating open-mindedness and willingness to cooperate with the country on the issue of repatriation of stolen funds from Nigeria. The president also appreciated the Italian delegation for emphasizing the cordial relationship between Nigeria and Italy and the need to establish a bilateral committee on friendship that will identify areas of cooperation and work collectively. Earlier, Senator Petruccelli had told President Muhammadu Buhari that the delegation, which included Senator Tony Chike Iwobi, Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, a Nigerian and first African to be elected into the Italian Parliament, was in the country to attend to the June 12 Democracy Day celebrations. And the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB has released another 15,490 results of the 2019 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations UTME. The board, in a statement Monday morning by its head of media, Mr. Dr. Fabian Benjamin, said the action followed the expert review of the cases of this category of candidates who were requested to upload certain credentials for scrutiny. The statement read in full in consonance with the promise made by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB during the release of the 2019 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination on Saturday, 11th of May 2019, that it will further probe the identity and involvement of some candidates who were suspected of being involved in one examination infraction or another. The board has further cleared and released the results of 15,490 candidates in this category. The release followed the expert review of the cases of this category of candidates who were requested to upload certain credentials for scrutiny. At the conclusion of the review exercise, this category of candidates were further classified into 5 groups. And the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, has appointed Justice Kazeem Alugba as the 17th Chief Judge of Lagos State and takes effect from Tuesday, the 11th of June 2019. The governor, in a statement signed by Boyega Akoshile, his Deputy Chief Press Secretary, said the appointment of the new acting Chief Judge is consequent upon the need to prevent a vacuum in the state judiciary, given the imminent retirement of the present Chief Judge of Lagos State, Honorable Justice Opeyemi Oke, who is set to disengage statutorily from the state judiciary from today, Monday the 10th of June 2019. Accordingly, the newly appointed acting Chief Judge will be sworn in on Thursday, the 13th of June 2019 in the Governor's Office, Lagos House, Lausa Ikeja at 10 a.m. The appointment of the new acting Chief Judge is consequent upon the need to prevent a vacuum in the state judiciary, given the imminent retirement of the present Chief Judge of Lagos State, who is set to disengage statutorily from office. The Nigerian Academy of Pharmacy, NAP, has berated the high rising of youths who are engaging in various aspects of drug abuses. The chairman of the NAP Drug and Substance Abuse Committee, Dr. Obaloju Ojo, disclosed this while speaking with newsmen in Lagos on Monday during a walk to create awareness against the abusive use of drugs. Dr. Ojo said the figure of about 10.6 million youths that are already addicted to various types of banned substance might increase if government and parental attitudes are not changed. Dr. Ojo noted that if urgent assent of the bill by President Muhammadu Buhari is not achieved in due course, the figure might raise to an uncontrollable measure. On their part, former Minister of Health, Dr. Julius Adelusi, and the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Mazi Sam Ohabunwa, and a board member of the group, Professor Cecilia Igbilo, called on the presidency to sign the PCN bill into law so as to address the abusive use of drugs and regulate the practice of the profession. In the wake of the differences between the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, and Dar Communications PLC, owners of Africa Independent Television, AIT, and Raypower FM, the latter has agreed to withdraw their suit against the NBC. AIT, Raypower, the peace meeting was attended by Nduka Obegbona, president of the Newspapers Proprietors Association of Nigeria, Ismaila Funtua, former president of NPAN, Sam Amuka, publisher of Vanguard newspaper, Raymond Dokwesi, founder of Dar Communications, and Ishak Modibo Kawu, Director General of the NBC. And looking at the financial sector, oil prices rose on Monday after Saudi Arabia said producer club OPEC and Russia were likely to keep withholding supplies, and in relief that the United States and Mexico averted a trade war that would have damaged the global economy. Front-month Brent crude futures, the international benchmark for oil prices, were at $63.71 or 0.7% above Friday's close. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures were at $54.43 per barrel, 44 cents or 0.8% above their last settlement. Traders and crude prices were rising because of statements by OPEC's de facto leader Saudi Arabia on Friday, saying that the group was close to agreeing extended supply cords. And the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has suspended till further notice Ohando PLC's annual general meeting, scheduled to hold on Tuesday. The suspension followed an order by Federal High Court in Lagos due to an application made by the Group Chief Executive Officer of Ohando PLC, Mr. Adewale Tinubu, and his deputy, who were suspended by SEC on the 31st of May. In a statement in Lagos on Monday, SEC said that it directed the suspension to allow parties involved in the suit to maintain status quo. The statement signed by Mrs. Ife Ebelo, SEC's head of corporate communications, was made available to newsmen in Lagos. The commission said that it will update relevant stakeholders and the general public on the outcome of the litigation. You're still watching the MiTV Primetime News. When we return, we'll bring you some foreign stories after the break. On the foreign scene tonight, nearly 100 people have been killed in an attack in a village in central Mali, inhabited by the Dogon ethnic group, officials say. The attack happened in Sobame Dar, near Sanga town in the Mopti region. The search for bodies is ongoing, but officials say 95 people have been found dead, with many of the bodies burned. There have been numerous attacks in Mali in recent months, some ethnically driven, some carried out by jihadist groups. Clashes between Dogon hunters and semi-nomadic Fulani herders were frequent. Mali's government said suspected terrorists had attacked the village at around 3:00 local time, and at least 19 people were still missing. But the mayor of nearby Bankas, Molaye Gundo, told reporters that Fulanis from that district had attacked Sobane Ko after nightfall. About 50 heavily armed men arrived on motorbikes and pickups. A survivor who called himself Amado Togo said the first surrounded the village and then attacked. Anyone who tried to escape was killed. Togo had that no one was spared: women, children, and elderly people. And Sudanese workers are refusing to go to work in an attempt to pressurize the ruling party government to make way for civilian rule. The opposition called for a campaign of civil disobedience, including a national strike, which began on Sunday. 4 people were killed after security forces fired tear gas and live ammunition. Monday remained quiet in Khartoum, although some businesses started to reopen and a few buses were running. In another development, 3 rebel leaders have been deported from the city to South Sudan. One of the 3, Yasser Aman, had only returned to Sudan last month after years in exile after he was sentenced to death in absentia. Most shops, markets and banks in the capital, as well as in several other cities, remained closed on Monday as staff followed instructions from the Sudanese Professionals Association, SPA. The pro-democracy opposition to not attend work. The SPA called the strike after more than 100 peaceful protesters were killed by a paramilitary group, the Rapid Support Forces, on the 3rd of June. The civil disobedience movement will begin Sunday and end only when a civilian government announces itself in power on state television, the SPA said in a statement. Protesters have set up roadblocks across the capital. Social media users with access to a connection reported that the country's internet was blocked by the ruling military government. And still from the foreign scene, 3 of Russia's leading newspapers have come out in support of a reporter charged with drug offenses in a case that has caused a huge public outcry. Mr. Golinov was charged over the weekend with trying to illegally sell drugs. His lawyer said the drugs were planted. The journalist was reportedly beaten up during his arrest last week. Golinov, 36, a freelance journalist, has contributed to a number of media outlets, including a Latvia-based news site. His arrest led to heated discussions among social media users in Russia, with many accusing the authorities of trying to stifle freedom of press. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said President Vladimir Putin was made aware of the case last week and was keeping a very close eye on all the details. On Sunday, a Moscow court ordered that Mr. Golunov be placed under house arrest rather than remanded in custody, which is standard procedure in drug-related cases in Russia. Meanwhile, journalists in Russia have in recent years often been harassed or attacked for their work. Many opposition figures and human rights activists in Russia have been detained on apparently fabricated drugs charges, which are widely seen as an attempt to quash political dissent. Much of Russia's media is controlled by the state, and Russia is ranked 83rd out of 100 countries for press freedom by Freedom House. And officials have warned of more potential eruptions from an active volcano in Indonesia after a huge ash cloud sparked panic among residents. Mount Sinabung on the island of Sumatra erupted for around 9 minutes on Sunday, sending volcanic ash 7 kilometers, and that is 4.4 miles, into the sky. Although no casualties were reported, officials monitoring the volcano, which has seen a spike in activity since 2010, have warned of further eruptions. Scientists at a Sinabung observatory post said there were aftershocks following the eruption, which happened between midnight and 6 a.m. local time. Authorities urged people in the area to use face masks and stay indoors to protect themselves against the volcanic ash. Mount Sinabung, which is more than 8,000 feet high, is among Indonesia's most active volcanoes, but had been inactive for 4 centuries before erupting in 2010. Indonesia has nearly 130 active volcanoes, more than any other country. And that's it on the foreign scene tonight. When we return, we'll talk sports. We'll be right back.
Are you searching for the highest quality education at the most affordable school fees? Then welcome to King's Class Schools, a dynamic citadel of learning comprising of the crèche, nursery and primary, as well as the secondary. King's Class Schools is a day and boarding school that runs both British and American curriculum and blessed with world-class facilities, conducive learning environment, spacious classrooms, and lots more. Entrance examination comes up on these following dates: 25th of May 2019, 22nd of June 2019, 20th of July 2019, as well as 23rd of August 2019. Time 9 a.m. prompt. Venue is the school's auditorium located at King's Class Schools, 39, 61 and 63 Kandos Road, marking the bus stop of Amuli Ashikpa Road, Ipaja, Lagos. For further inquiries, call any of these numbers: 0806-720-4320 or 0802-341-8222 or email us at kingsclassedu@yahoo.com. King's Class Schools, we offer the highest quality education at the most affordable fees.
Talking sports tonight, former Nigeria international Edema Foludo on Monday said that the exclusion of the Super Eagles striker Kelechi Iheanacho from the 23-man list by coach Gennaro Rao did not come as a surprise. Foludo, a member of the victorious 1994 AFCON squad, who made the assertion in an interview in Lagos, said Iheanacho was not in his best form. And once the players failed to meet up to expectation, there is nothing anyone can do about it. He said the coach gave it serious thought before taking the decision to drop him. The coach made it clear that players' performance at club level will determine players' inclusion in the AFCON list. At the just concluded Premier League season, Iheanacho struggled for form and was left on the bench for most games for his club. Rotherham FC of England player Simi Ajayi was also dropped by coach Gennaro Rao, who was not impressed with his performance. The rest of the squad will travel for the tournament, which kicks off on the 21st of June in Egypt. And still talking sports, skipper John Mikel Obi passed Kanu Nwankwo in the number of international caps, with the Super Eagles climbing to third in the list after playing one game more than the latter. Mikel made his 87th cap for Nigeria on Saturday in a friendly against Zimbabwe at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba. He returned as captain of the team since Nigeria's World Cup campaign in Russia. Mikel missed 7 matches since then, including all 2019 AFCON qualifiers and a high-profile friendly against Egypt. Had he been available for selection, the former Chelsea midfielder will have seen his caps reach 94, just 7 short of the all-time record jointly held by Vincent Iyama and Joseph Yobo. Alongside Mikel, Ahmed Musa 81 and Eldersin Ishejile 62 are the only active players in the top 10 most capped Nigerian players. And former world champion Nico Rosberg has accused Sebastian Vettel of complaining and blaming other people for his own errors in Sunday's Canadian Grand Prix. Vettel's fellow German made the remark on Monday as Ferrari confirmed they would appeal the controversial 5-second penalty that cost their driver victory. Ferrari's move came despite the emergence of video evidence that appeared to undermine the defense. Vettel was punished for returning to the track unsafely after running to the grass 48 laps into the race. The move caused Lewis Hamilton, who forced the mistake and ended up winning after the time adjustment was made to slow down to avoid being squeezed into the wall. Although the majority of paddock sympathy lay with Vettel, immediately afterwards, the CCTV footage seen by Sportsmail shows the German steering to the right and towards Hamilton after first gathering control of his car. And this seems to contradict Vettel's claim that he was a little more than a helpless passenger in the Ferrari after going off at turn 3. The stewards watched the video, which was not broadcast on the international television feed, before coming to their judgment. And that's it tonight on the MiTV Primetime News. But a quick recap of our top stories. We told you that the inauguration of the 9th National Assembly will kick off tomorrow, Tuesday. And President Muhammadu Buhari has signed June 12 bill as Democracy Day into law. From the education sector, we're told that JAMB has released another 15,490 results of the 2019 UTME. From the foreign scene, on latest Mali attack, 100 people were reported killed in the ethnic Dogon village. And from the world of sports, Super Eagles is in top form ahead of the AFCON 2019. And that's our story tonight. From the entire news crew here, thanks for watching. My name is Benjamin Peters. Good night.
soul of entertainment.
De seguro que te conquisto, mami. no saben en